Hello, I'm your host, Leonard Duncan. Welcome to a new episode of ATV-TALK and Motorsports Podcast. Please join us every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We bring you interviews with industry professionals, live events, live news about the motorsports industry in every episode. Enjoy the show. Joe Weiss, welcome to ATV Talk. Thank you for taking so much time. Foundation Motorsports is something we don't talk about a whole lot. We don't talk about a lot of the youth investment in our industry. And here you are, and let's get into it.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Thanks for taking the time to talk.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just said thanks for taking the time to talk with me. Yeah. As you mentioned, I'm Joe Weiss, Foundation Motorsports. We build youth mini quads.
How did you get into that?
Well, actually, we got into it just I've always kind of been interested in off-road racing of all different sorts, and one day my son showed a little bit of interest in ATV racing, and we learned that there was a race going on at one of our local fairs. So we picked up one of those cheap Chinese 110cc ATVs and took him into the fair race, and man, he fell in love with it. We had to pull him off that track.
How did that work with your background and then rolling into ATVs, especially an ATV that in a lot of cases was subpar?
Yeah, so after that first race, we decided to hit up some local races, and while we were at some of these local races, we found that the youth ATV offerings that were out there, they weren't of the high quality that I would expect. Especially for something that I'm going to put my kid on and send him out there hitting all these jumps. So I have a background in mechanical engineering, and general manager of a local fab shop here in town. So after doing some research and trying to see what kind of options there were that I could put my son on that I thought would be safe and perform at a high level, looking at the cost of some of these, I thought to myself, man, I think I can design and build this myself. So that's kind of where the whole journey started, just trying to find something that was a little better suited for our need.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your background first before we roll into building, youth ATVs. What were you mainly manufacturing before?
So right now, the place I work for still is my full-time job, and I was doing it prior to this. I worked for a company called Norwalk Precast Molds. So we manufacture steel molds for precast concrete industry, and then along with that, I had a background in food processing design. So large industrial ovens, grill markers, belt grills, things like that.
So nothing really off-road based.
No, nothing off-road based.
What is your off-road experience? I mean, did you come from a former racer, former enthusiast, or are you just now rolling into it?
I actually never raced myself until just a couple years ago. No, we just grew up out in the country, and my dad was a mechanic, my grandfather was a mechanic, so we just kind of grew up wrenching on things and riding things with engines.
Really? Motorcycle stuff or farm or your farm equipment?
Not really farm equipment. I wasn't allowed to have a motorcycle until I was 18 and moved out of the house, but I always worked on them. Try to pick up deals here and there and get them running. So
you had
as soon as I turned 18, I did get one, that's for sure.
So you had some experience, with working on them before you got to really heavy into riding them.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
How does the family feel about the investment in off-road racing?
Oh, super supportive. Actually, my wife was a big push for me to make the leap to actually start the business and get into it. Obviously, the kids enjoy it. It's a lot of work, but they're very supportive.
How old was your son when you first started this?
The very first race he was 5.
How old is he now?
5. He's 12 now.
Whoa. So you have definitely got, your feet wet and sunk your teeth into it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
That's awesome. Uh, Talk to me a little bit about, you mentioned the fact that you were out looking at what's available in the industry. Um, Tell me a little bit about what you found.
Yeah. So the platform where we were on, we broke a lot of frames. It was very maintenance heavy. Um, we had the chassis that was fully gusseted by a reputable place, and it still just wouldn't hold up. My son's a little bit larger, a little bit taller kid, especially for his age. And so after that wasn't working out really well, and I got tired of repairing frames and adding all these gussets and all this weight to this frame. I started looking at some of the other options, and man, through that process, there's only a couple options out there, anyways. And if you wanted to get a high quality youth chassis, you're looking at the 25,000 range for $20,000 range for a full mini quad. That wasn't something I was particularly thrilled about getting into. So,
After you've built a few, do you understand why the cost is so high?
oh, I 100% understand why the cost is so high, and that's one of the reasons why I thought it was a good idea to acquire Cobra ATV. Um, it was long established, and there was good inventory that allowed me to keep costs down. So we're able now to produce a quad that's significantly lower in cost.
Can I say something without it being derogatory? Have you fixed the quality?
Yes, I personally, of course, I'm a little bit biased, but I think our chassis is one of the best, if not the best, youth chassis on the market right now.
So how long ago did you purchase them?
Uh, we purchased the Cobra ATV chassis business in 2022, so we're rolling around 3 years here in October.
Okay. Okay. Did you make any innovation changes as far as engine, anything like that, or just trying to make the chassis better?
So currently, we can't legally sell an entire quad in the United States, so we just focus on building chassis at this time. Our long-term goal is to build a full legal quad that can be sold in the United States. But the Cobra ATV, and the reason I went that route, it's actually known for its handling and its higher end quality. So there's a little bit of gusseting and a few changes that we make to it to improve it slightly, but we already started with what was widely considered the best platform that was available at that time. So
The bar's not very high, so
it's it's not, but the chassis with the Cobra ATV wasn't really its downfall. I think it was more so the engine. The single speed engines really weren't competitive with the CVT engines. So it was no fault of the chassis for why that's not quite as popular, but um, or why you don't see a lot of them out there. But
so let's say I got a 6-year-old, little more advanced than a beginner, and I need a chassis. What engine will I put in that chassis?
if you're around a 6-year-old, you're gonna put a CVT. You're gonna have about a 50 CVT chassis or engine.
Am I going to be able to buy the whole package from you in pieces and assemble myself, or do I have to go to multiple locations?
I would, at this time, just for legal reasons, I would direct you to one of our engine builders for the engine. Now, we can help you and set you up with that, but for right now, we're just focused primarily on the chassis.
So could I just call you up and say, hey, this is what I want, and you're going to sell me a chassis, and then I'm going to get an invoice from an engine guy, and my engine's going to show up, my chassis is going to show up, and then I'm going to be able to call somebody for tech support?
Yeah, I mean, I answer calls nonstop for tech support, so that's not an issue at all. But yeah, you can call me. I'll hook you up with the chassis, point you in the right directions for the engines, and
Still
yeah,
gotta, what I'm getting at is I have to make that other phone call. I can't just call you and then have the whole package shipped to me from the other vendor and yourself.
yeah, you can have the engine you sort of have to make that second call.
That's what I was getting at.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Just for legal reasons,
How
you
about
have
if
to
I
make
want
that
a
second
shifter?
call. What's that?
How about if I want a shifter?
Same thing. Right now, there's a whole lot of, and we're working our way through the process, but there's a whole lot of consumer safety guidelines and a whole lot of loops and hoops you got to jump through to actually sell what they consider a full ATV. So if it doesn't have a motor, it's not considered an ATV, and I can sell that, but I can't sell them together legally.
But I can put my 8-year-old on a CRF 450R right now.
I mean, I wouldn't recommend it, but yeah.
I'm the hypocrisy, or not the hypocrisy, but the irony of the legal system is just blows me away.
Oh, it's crazy. And the amount of time and money we're investing currently and have to invest to jump through these hoops, it's taxing.
So do you know who you're mad at for that?
Who am I mad at?
Honda.
Honda? They started all that?
Honda's the one that did not follow through when it all started with the three-wheelers. They had the opportunity to set the standard for the ATC industry itself and give the guidelines, and they chose not to, which caused the lawsuits, which there's a whole deeper way to get involved into it. I was educated by another individual that did the legwork, which I'm not going to give names or go into it. They know who they are if they listen to this. And
Really?
because I was mad at the government. Well, yeah, it's the government's fault, but if Honda would have done their part in the beginning, we wouldn't have any of this shit. Oops, excuse me.
Really?
It's a kid.
No, you're good.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It seems like there's a completely different set of guidelines and rules for dirt bikes and ATVs.
Because
It's
they did the legal work ahead of time to stop it for the motorcycles, but they just didn't for the ATCs, which caused the ATV thing. So it's all we're just in this, redheaded stepchild, hell that we've always been in, which is creating the issue for your business.
oh yeah. Yeah, how do we get out of that?
I don't know. California did some stuff with the law with the I forget, Prop 56, I think it is, where they did the legality where the lead and all this other stuff. So now you
Yeah.
have a warning label on everything, and it's all bogus. There's none of the stuff that they're fighting against is what the problem is. I mean, it's just horrible that your business has to suffer that. I hope that you guys get it down to where you can build a youth platform, because this industry is suffering from not having a good youth platform.
Oh, it really is. Everything starts with the youth. If you don't have kids out there, you're not going to have adults out there. I mean, most of the parents out there, they get their kids involved because they used to do it as kids, or they had an interest in it as kids. And if you take away any opportunity that the kids have to go out there, hop on something that's reasonably priced and safe, go ride, you're going to kill the sport.
It's just like you said, your son's larger than the average for his age. So if he's big enough to ride, let's say a Raptor 250, why do I got to put him on a 80cc machine that he's too big to ride?
Yeah. Yeah.
When I can still put my 8-year-old on a CRF 450. I don't get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Makes no sense.
Yeah.
But
I agree.
let's get back on track here and talk about the expansion of the youth. As your son gets older, is your focus going to stay building youth machines?
Yeah. Yeah. That's where I'd like to stay. I think there's really a need there. And like I said, I think the youth is where it starts off. Um, we might work our way up to the 250s at some point. In fact, I might be working on developing a 250 chassis, but I don't really have any intent right now to go anything further than that.
How do you guys feel that the youth market's going to go for you?
I think at first it's going to be a struggle. I mean, the entire, I guess the entire mentality of people these days is a little bit different. It's a little bit shifting. I mean, we notice it even in school sports where kids are inside more, they're on their video games, they're not getting out and being active. So I'm sure there's going to be a bit of a struggle with it, but I think overall, I think we can make it happen.
I hope so. We got to do something to generate more. Are you looking into possible electric platforms as well, where you take your chassis and put an electric motor in it as well?
Yeah, I've looked into that a little bit. Talked to a couple different suppliers. There's not a huge manufacturing base for it right now, and if there is, they're all tied up into the bigger names. They don't want to mess with me, but finding something that's got the battery life and that can handle the longevity that you need to be able to take these quads to these races, to the XC races, to the motocross races, it's really difficult to find. So, and then right now my numbers are low for something like that. So nobody wants to mess with somebody who just wants to start off and do some prototyping.
Have you looked into some of the things that Walsh is doing with it? I know it's a bigger platform, but
Yeah.
it gives you a base idea.
Yeah. No, it's pretty neat. I think they're using that Suron motor in that 450 chassis.
I believe that is.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it looks cool. I watched their videos, watched them roll that out and do some of their test rides with it. I think it's pretty neat.
I I'm not a fan of the electrics. What I
Yeah.
am a fan of, though, is if we could get your used platform functioning properly for the 0 to, I guess, 14 age bracket,
Yeah.
we could turn our local baseball field into a motocross park with electric vehicles and bring our sport back to life, because we would be able to have four-wheelers, motorcycles, UTVs, all in a facility that's quiet, learn how to make it dust free and family orientated.
I mean, I'm a little bit torn with the electric thing myself. I looked into it because obviously it seems like that's the direction things are starting to go. So if I'm trying to build this business, obviously I should look at what's going, where the industry is going. Personally, it's anything we can do to get the kids off the video games, get them out being active. It's great, but man, motorsports just wouldn't be the same if you don't hear the roaring of the engines. I mean, if you don't hear the four strokes, if you don't hear the two strokes, that's just part of the experience to me. So, you really think that this is where we're going to end up? Do you think that's what our future is going to be? Is it going to be an electric or
No,
are we?
I do not believe that electric for the next 50 years is going to be where we are. But Joe Tall from ATV On Demand, him and I were having a discussion about it. And this is one of his ideas. And I was floored by it because it's so common sense, so rational, and so real that, hey, do you want your kids are playing baseball at night, kids are playing soccer at night, why can't kids be riding in their ATV at night at the corner or at the park? You just have to have the land with the lights, and there you go.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
you're not going to take your kid on his 70 or his 50 or whatever size motorcycle ATV that it is that's disturbing the neighbors.
yep,
You're not going to do that.
yeah, yeah. I agree.
So if you
I
put
agree.
them on an electric vehicle, you kind of solved one of our problems.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
I can see that.
that's just where that idea comes from. Uh, your battery life, your weight. I mean, you brought it up earlier in the conversation. There's so many things. There is a electric machine running on the GNCC series, and they say they have a quick change battery for it.
Nice.
I was not paying attention or listening well enough to my own show to write down the information to get who has that machine or who built it, but it's something that you got to look at.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
I have to check that out.
so I mean, it got us a little off topic, but
Yeah. No.
I think that you have a platform that we're going to lean on people like you to help grow our sport.
You need manufacturers. I mean, we have to have somebody. I mean, there's other people that that are building these hybrids, and they're doing a lot of great things, and they're great people. They're working hard, but man, not everybody can afford a hybrid. Not everybody can go that route. So you need manufacturers that can pump out some quantity along with quality and keep those costs down. And that's what I'm trying to do.
So I know you're not the engine guy, you're the chassis guy, but what are they doing to make the engines more reliable?
Um, well, one of the things we're going to focus on is the shifters. The CVTs, it's not that they're necessarily unreliable. They're just very maintenance heavy. With all the clutching and all the different components with that, there's just a lot of work. And if you're not a really mechanically savvy guy, I have watched it happen a lot, especially on the local level with racing. If you're not a mechanically savvy guy and you're trying to figure out why the quad's bogging or any issues, and you've never been into a clutch or you're just new at one of those clutches, it can make you pull your hair out. So that's one of the reasons we're gonna focus on the shifters. Plus, I think there's a need there that doesn't exist now. So
I totally think there is a need there. Talk to me a little bit about the significance of Dominic's championship on the FMR chassis.
yeah, so we're super excited about that. So he's actually on one of our V1 chassis, which is the very first. It was actually just the prototype. It was the very first one I designed before we even bought Cobra ATV. It was never meant to last as long as it did, but that chassis was for the 70 class. It utilizes a 70 CVT engine, and man, he just stepped his game up this year and really went out there and went after it. He won, I think, all but two of the races this year, and I think I believe there's only four motos that he didn't take first place in out of all the races at the national level there. So he really loved the chassis. I mean, he instantly hopped on it and it handled the breaker bumps well. It cornered well. He was instantly way more comfortable than he was on the platform he was on before. So he just stepped it up and he did really well this year. We're really proud of him.
How do the other parents take that you're a chassis manufacturer and the owner of Cobra out there racing with them? How are they responding to you?
Really well, actually. A lot of questions, a lot of people coming up, a lot of support. That's one thing, that our entire family has kind of fell in love with ATV racing is the support we get from the surrounding families. I myself personally have missed gate drops with my son, so I could help get another kid out on that track. And there's plenty of people that I could rely on to do the same for me if I ever needed it. So super supportive.
That's great. I love that about the ATV sport. Doesn't matter if you're desert racing or motocross or woods racing, drag race, doesn't matter. If it's ATV related, there is a group of family members that, from people you've never met before to people that you see every time you go to the races, that are willing to help, feed, work on, drive you, whatever it takes to make it happen.
Yeah, yeah, and that's one of the things. I mean, this is racing, and it's great to go out there and win, but that's one of the values we like to instill in our kids is you help your friends. You're there to be a good person. You're there to support your friends, and you work hard. And this is a great avenue to help teach them that.
Right on. Speaking of, we're talking about the family deal, when you're bringing your family into this environment and you're spending all this time, what changes have you seen in getting away from the phone or getting your son outside more? Do you see this? How much more of an advantage do you see this for the future?
Oh, I think quite a bit. And there's still times, he wants to get out there, all of his friends are on the games, but just like that first race, I don't know if you ever deer hunted, but when you shoot your first deer, if you're like me, even to this day, when you shoot a big buck, you get that adrenaline rush, you get that shakes going on. I mean, he had that first thing coming off the track, and I think that adrenaline rush, I think that excitement, it just keeps you going, um, and keeps them interested. I think if we could get more kids introduced to this, give them that feeling, I think it would definitely help grow the sport quite a bit.
How, other than the platform that you're working with, how do you think that we should go about getting more kids and more family members uh, into this sport, other than the way that we've already talked about?
Well, obviously, the way I'm going to do it is bring costs down, make this a little bit more affordable. ATV ATV racing, it's a business. It's just like any other business. When you're trying to attract people, there's people are looking at the cost it takes to buy your product. They're looking at the quality of your product, and they're looking at the availability of your product. So I think with ATV racing, we need to try to improve all those things. I don't think there's just one switch we're going to flip and get people interested. I think we need to get the cost where people can afford it. I think we need to make it more available so people know it exists. There's really nowhere where you can go and watch ATV racing or see ATV racing. We had to do a bunch of research and ask around to figure out how to even get into the sport because you don't find it anywhere. And then I think all of that will help improve the quality of racing. I think we got great racers out there right now, a lot of dedicated people, but it's not always the most exciting thing to watch. And I think mostly because we already know how it's going to end. So I think if we can cut the cost and make it more available, we're going to help improve the quality of the racing, and that's how you're going to get more people in.
A couple things with this. We'll start with, how do you think we reach more people based on the fact that I don't have a media background?
Yeah.
I have a builder background, a manufacturing background in the ATV world. So
Yeah.
how do we reach more people through the media?
Well, one of the thoughts I had, and I don't know, obviously we just have to get it out there. Somebody with some media experience, somebody with some interest, they have to get it out there on whatever platform kids are seeing and adults are seeing. A great example is I'm not sure if you've ever watched the F1 racing, Drive to Survive. I believe it's on Netflix. F1 was a dying sport. Um, Very little fan base. But what they were able to do was get it out there so everybody could see it, even us sitting here in America, and they were able to create some drama. They were able to create a good guy and a bad guy. They're able to create a show, something people wanted to watch. They gave you somebody to root for. They gave you the drama to watch in between. Um, I think right now there's nowhere that anybody can find that. So we need to find somebody. I'm not sure who that is, but somebody to get that out there.
First, we got to find a group of people that'll understand that to make money off the sport, you have to invest money and let it grow. You can't get it to grow just a little bit and then take your money out of it and run away. And we've had that happen so many times that that's what kills us. So I agree with you, other than the fact that I used to love watching F1 until they cheated Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah.
When they cheated Lewis Hamilton, I was done because I despise Max Verstappen.
I'm not a big Lewis Hamilton fan myself either, honestly.
Well, I am not. If you take him out of the driver's seat, I'm not a fan at all.
Exactly.
Driver, gosh, he's phenomenally talented.
He is talented, but was that the Mercedes rides, or was that his talent?
I think it was a mixture of both. But that ruling was so emotionally devastating to him that because they blatantly lied, they blatantly stole that title, and nobody did anything about it.
Yeah.
And then F1 or FIM or whoever you want to talk to didn't listen to their fan base, because it would have been very easily for them right there to say, no, that was the wrong call. The race manager freaking is fired. Lewis Hamilton's champion. Verstappen, I'm sorry, you got second.
Yeah.
Right there in front of everybody, own up, be the man that it is. So if you look at some of the racing series in the United States that have failed for ATV racing or that have problems, it's because they don't man up to the rules. When you build a foundation and a series, the rules are the rules. You follow the rules, don't break the rules. Mickey Thompson was outstanding. They had a guy named Jerry Stansberry. I don't even know if you remember the Mickey Thompson series.
I don't.
You should do a little research. This guy, he didn't care if you were Ford, Chevy, Mercedes. He didn't care. You broke the rules, you got penalized.
Yeah, that's how it should be.
That's what's made the series so great. You knew you could count on the rules being enforced properly. F1 doesn't have that. They still don't have that. Like just watching today, they were giving Lewis Hamilton a bunch of crap when Verstappen ran into him. Lewis didn't do it. Verstappen did it. Verstappen's done it all along. The guy's just a billionaire bully. We're off topic, but this is what we need in ATV racing. You have a guy named Joel Hetrick that is setting the world on fire with
that guy's crazy.
Phenomenal talent, phenomenal team. I would love it if Team Phoenix would go get 2 or 3 other guys and put them out there to race against Joel on that platform and see is it Joel or is it their platform?
Man, if you watch that guy ride, I know he's got a great platform and nothing against Phoenix Racing, but watch that guy ride. He hits lines, he hits turns, he hits that track unlike anybody else.
He does things on an ATV that are technically not doable. Physics and what he's doing don't work. And what he's doing is he's teaching guys like Ford and Lindquist and some other guys how to do those things to elevate their game as well.
Yeah. He helps them out, gives them pointers. I mean, he's on another level, which is, I mean, he should be a millionaire to get it right. He's arguably the fastest guy in the world on 4 wheels, and it's a shame that there's not the fan base to help get him to that level, because man, he's a heck of a rider.
Oh, he's super talented. Thank you, David Eller, for investing in the ATV world like he does, because he's got the 2 best. He's got Bryson Neal in the woods and Hetrick in the motocross. And wow.
Yeah, we need somebody to challenge him. That way we can have that rivalry, like the Max Verstappen and the Lewis. We need that rivalry so we can get people to the track to watch it, or have it broadcast so people want to sit down and watch somebody try to take on Joe Hedrick. You know what I
So,
mean?
so did you see the stream that they did at the last round at Briarcliff?
We were there racing. I didn't watch the stream.
So we we've been talking amongst Dirt Wheels and ATV On Demand and myself and multiple others. Bryce Ford was involved in the conversation about how they should stream a show. And I believe they should stream a show.
Yeah.
Need to have 4 pro classes, whether it be the pro class, the stock pro class, the open pro class, and the women's pro class. And that's your show. It's a 4-hour show on Saturday and live stream it. And I'm sorry the other classes wouldn't get shown, but none of the other lower classes in any other sport get shown.
Yeah.
So you have to promote the pros.
I think you could probably even do the pro am or the pro sport. I mean, there's college football. You get to see that level before they get to the pro level. I
So
think
well, pro sport is utter waste of time because it doesn't do anything for the sport.
right.
Have the pro am class, the
Yep.
women's pro class, the men's pro class, and then make an open pro class or go back to the stock pro class.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure why we ever got rid of the stock pro class, but maybe there just wasn't enough interest in it. What was it?
Political.
Political?
Yeah, political. It's all political. You know, what ruins everything?
That's the truth.
Same reason that you're having trouble being able to roll out a complete machine for the world is it's politics. Somebody
Yeah.
wants to make $1 off of you.
Yeah. Yep. 100%.
I hope that you will be able to build those machines because B&R is the only other company I know that's working really hard in the youth program, and everything they do is focused on the cross country. At least that, to my knowledge, it is. We need more youth. So this is the other portion of the question I wanted to ask you before I got on my soapbox and went left.
You're good.
Enthusiasts. So you build this machine, you're going to have to get the enthusiasts involved in purchasing your machine because racers are not going to keep you in business.
Yep. Agreed. And that's why I think it's important to build a quad that's legal in the United States. You need to be able to. We see the people at the racetrack all the time, and we could go hit some GNCC races, and we can run that circuit, try to sell there. But that's a very small group of people. I think we need to make the quad legal to sell in the United States so we can get it to dealers, and then of course we're gonna have to do some marketing ourselves. You know, make it known that these exist, show how much fun the kids have on these, and run a whole marketing scheme to get them out to people beyond just at the racetrack.
Have you been reached out to by Dirt Wheels at all yet?
I have not. No.
Okay. I'll definitely have to turn your contact over to Jeff Hinson at Dirt Wheels and let him talk to you about what you got going on because
Okay.
Dirt Wheels is our largest only ATV publication. I don't think that we are what you would consider a publication like that. We talk about multiple different things in the motorsports industry, ATV being our main spread, but obviously I get into F1 and MotoGP and trophy trucks. I mean, I get into everything.
Yeah.
And I like the controversy of F1, but I would like to see the exposure change in ATVs, where what we do is get a group of people in the sport so that we can live stream it. So we can create a show that everybody can count on. Race day, here we are, boom.
Yeah.
And move.
I agree. It seems like there's always this chicken or egg. Nobody wants to do it because there's not enough people doing it, but there's not enough people doing it because nobody knows it exists. So it's going to take somebody just to step up and do it. Somebody who has the passion for it.
Well, Jeremy Osborne is probably the best promoter in the ATV industry.
Yeah, he does a great job.
Well, there's nobody else. Well,
Yeah,
I take that back. The Deckers try, and they're
yeah.
listening to Jeremy, and they're going to do okay. And then there was the guy that did the first live stream. I don't remember who that was, what his name was. But until the promoters are held accountable, nothing's going to change. In the old days, you could get an ATV race that was promoted by the local news, like the TV station and the radio station. Now you couldn't get the local news station to even mention that they're in town.
Which is crazy to me. I mean, especially nowadays. This it's exciting. There's danger involved. I mean, these are at least especially in the youth class. I mean, don't take me wrong, the pros are crazy also, but you're taking 5 or 4-year-old kids all the way up to pros, and they're going out there and running these same tracks that these pros are. I mean, who wouldn't want to come see that, or at least know what the heck's going on?
So where do you see yourself in 5 years, Joe?
5 years, I hope to have a legal quad. I hope to be manufacturing these at a pretty good rate, and hopefully make a pretty good impact on the sport by then.
So you're going to have to talk to shock manufacturers, tire manufacturers, wheel manufacturers, which you probably already talked to some of those already.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's definitely a big challenge. A big step forward to being able to do that and find those is acquiring Cobra ATV. Along with that acquisition, there's a lot of different vendors and stuff that they had listed. Some of them aren't viable vendors anymore, but one that we're working on right now is engines. Before we make a quad legal, we need to have it set up exactly how we want it. We've been working close with Cobra Moto. They've done great working with us on their 65 shifter motors and providing those engines with us too. We're looking at some other vendors. Trying to hook up with a couple of the big name guys just to try their stuff out. But yeah, sourcing all this stuff is definitely a challenge. But fortunately, we got a pretty good start on it. So there's just a couple of things that we're still
Are
working on
you
every now and
going to go completely away from the CVT to make them shifters on all of them?
then. Yep. I think right now our plan is to enter the market with a shifter. There's a few reasons for that. First of all, there's no shifter quad out there in the CC range in this class, and then all the hoops we got to jump through in terms of getting them certified, and there's certain age groups and speed limits and different things like that. It's just going to be, I think, a little bit easier, especially for our first one, to start with a little higher age group, something that's shifting. Because once you go to the government, you're trying to sell quads to kids, the regulations are a lot more strict. So I think it'll be a little bit easier to get through that process to start with by going into the shifters segment.
So when you start talking about government, do we start at our local government, or are we going to go right to the feds?
Oh, right to the feds.
Going to just bypass all your local stuff?
Yeah, you got to go through consumer safety, and then you got to go through the EPA stuff. There's tests on the East Coast, there's tests on the West Coast. You got to ship these quads out. They got to run them through their paces, make sure they pass all the EPA, make sure they pass speed tests, rollover tests, and of course, all they got to go through all the basic warnings and labels, and make sure you have the right reflectors, and make sure you have a plan in place that you're going to promote safety and give safety training to the future consumers. There's quite a bit involved in it.
But yet I can go to Walmart and buy my kid a scooter and let him fall over and knock his teeth out. And nobody says shit.
Yep.
I am beside myself. It just makes zero sense. There's no common sense in any of this.
Yeah, it's all consumer safety stuff, and especially when, like I said, when you bring youth into it, when you bring kids into it, the requirements are quadruple.
But there's so many things that you can let the youth do that are unsafe that nobody even says.
Oh yeah. Yep.
I'm glad I was born in the age that I was in because we were allowed to do everything.
Sometimes I wish I was.
And we could ride. I was riding a shifter motorcycle with a clutch when I was, 6 years old.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Rode ATC 70s, as soon as they came out, as soon as we were allowed to get on them. My dad worked at a Honda dealer and we had them. We were riding them.
Yeah. Yeah. As a kid, my dad picked up an old it was an 83 Honda XL 250R. It was in a box. He and I put it together out in the barn. I wasn't even tall enough to be able to reach the freaking foot pegs. He'd have to hold it up and I'd hop on it and go rip it through the field.
You
You just
know,
don't see it these days.
well, yeah, I mean, it seems like our society has gotten ultra scared.
Yep. Very protective.
Everything's got to have a safety this or safety that. I
Yep.
understand head injuries happen. Well, I've bounced my noodle off the ground more than once.
You and me both.
Yeah, I mean, these are things that I don't even have an answer for how to help you fight it.
There's there's a consultant slash lawyer uh, that we've talked to a little bit to try to ease into it, but man, the retaining fees and stuff like that that they want to do this. I think I'm going to go through and figure out as much of it myself as possible first, and then ultimately when we're ready to make that leap and we got all of our stuff together, all of our ducks in a row, then I'll kind of go through them to try to push it through. But for right now, I'm going to do as much of it as I can myself. Um, Try to get there.
Well, don't be like me, bad mouthing the EPA and all these other guys where I hate them all. I mean, I just think that they're just nonsense. They weren't voted in. We shouldn't be having to talk to them, and they're not doing anything to help us.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to get started on any of that.
Good. Let me badmouth them. You just keep doing what you're doing. I'm going to ask you to make sure that you keep reaching out to us.
Okay.
You know that since you've come on my show, if you have something that you want to post about your company, what's coming on, what's going on, flyers, promotions, anything, all you have to do is reach out to us and we will start posting on all of our social media pages, which we have more than I can count. Fortunately, my daughter handles all that, and when we get a notification, we pass it on to her, and I don't know what happens to it after that.
I let my wife do all the social media stuff too. She's way better at it than me.
Well, just tell her that ATV Talk is here for her as another outlet to, hey, we might both be on, following each other on Facebook or whatever, and it's just popping up, but it's just more and more and more people we're reaching. Um, we have ATV Talk, we have, my personal, we have Duncan Tech, we have Duncan Entertainment, we have, I mean, more than I can. There's just so many different things that we have, outlets that we can post all this stuff on. So please make sure that you get us your information when you need to post, when you want to reach out to your community. Your community is our community. So let's work together.
I really appreciate that.
Hello, I'm your host, Leonard Duncan. Welcome to a new episode of ATV-TALK and Motorsports Podcast. Please join us every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We bring you interviews with industry professionals, live events, live news about the motorsports industry in every episode. Enjoy the show.